Okay, I was working on the Harald Kautz series, and I'm listening to Harald a little bit.
This is actually the thing that caused the mad cow disease in the 80s. If you look exactly at the medical research concerning mad cow disease, you find that
You find that they lied to you again about every fucking thing that came out of their mouths, because mad cow disease is also the same thing. It's the metellus I was telling you, the respiratory one that's all around the brain, that gathers up all around everybody's brain. The human brain, same thing. We're going through the same thing. The cow just has a different electrical system, and the frequencies that it run on had a less of a chance as anybody else that was suffering with those same exact metellus. But they might have been able to fight them off, whether it's another animal that was also breathing in those same metallus or eating that same metallus. You know, the pig is on a different frequency, but they might have been eating the same grain, that kind of thing.
there are three reasons to get this disease: a lack of copper within the body, too much mercury in the body, and these nanocrystals. And what happens then is that the mercury is stripping the nervous system, destroying the protective layers of the nerves.
Yep.
The copper,
Because what they're doing is they're reflecting and deflecting electromagnetic ability that the body would normally be producing.
the lack of copper in the body makes the single nerves dissolve into.
The copper, being a good conductor, is, you're right about that, is beneficial, but the mercury is counteracting, the aluminums counteract.
Chain parts. It's a protein, a prion, and a copper, protein, prion, copper. If you suck out the copper, it falls.
The aluminum actually absorbs, and the mercury reflects, and the copper conducts.
Falls into pieces. This is how they can diagnose TSE, by measuring these protein prion particles. And then something very interesting happens. These protein prion things try to rebuild the nervous system. It's a self-healing process of the body. But if you don't have copper, you cannot rebuild the nervous system. So the body is taking the next heavy metals it can access, and this is barium and strontium. So it starts building a nervous system that is based on protein prion barium, and this is.
Just include the aluminum for me too when you're doing that. The aluminum, and I guess the carbon and the synthetics should also be thrown in there too.
Kind of an antenna for electromagnetic fields. So you are rebuilding a nervous system that is sensitive on electromagnetic fields. And not only that.
Always has been. It's nothing new. They're not inventing it. They're taking it away. The creator is the one that put this program together. He already had all that figured out, or she, or whatever you want to call it. That was all already figured out during the other previous programs. He knew the program that he wanted, and this time around, and that's what we are. That's where we exist.
That the nerve itself becomes sensitive. Also, the barium strontium titanate nanocrystals, they display barium and strontium on their surface from the crystalline structure, and the new built nerves kind of grow onto the crystal. So what you get is a new connecting point for the nervous system.
Nothing new. That's nothing new. They lied to us when they told us that when someone got brain damage, that once certain cell structures were damaged or broken, Alzheimer's disease, they pretend they don't have any fucking answers for it. It all is going to come back to the metellus, things that are breaking nervous connections in the nervous system and stuff like that, and in our neurological system, more or less. Signals get broken with the metelluses. So that's just an easy way to control it as well, you know. What the fuck It's making that noise.
That is piezoelectric. And whenever this is receiving a signal, it's firing electrons. So you have a direct access to the nervous system of the human being. This is one nanobot that you can find in the literature. Nobody knows that it is 100% identical with TSE, with the mad cow disease, and with the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So this particle, it's you can see if you look into the military domain, they use it for radar range enhancement, for turning the sky into optical lenses and optical mirror setup. You call it horizontal drift plasma antennas and columnar focal lenses, so that they can play with.
Yes, that one is also true. So it's nice to hear you saying some other things that are factual, but there's no secret. Everybody knows the 7.8 billion zombies all know this. I told a good portion of them myself, so I know they know. And there are a zillion channels out there that are all reporting the chemtrails. They will not look up. They will not look at them. They're zombies. 7.8 billion of them. So you explaining to them right now in this speech, you're explaining to the zombies that there are these trails that are being dropped in the sky and they're causing optical imaging, and they're controlling the weather, and you're even taking it a step further and using your imagination and saying that it's space aliens related and stuff like that. But take the space alien shit out of it, right? Let's just say with the factual shit you're telling them. Hey, there's these jets up there and they're laying out these trails, and they're able to use aluminum, strontium, barium, lithium oxide carbons are provable. They might be, you even go further and talk about nanobots, which is bullshit. But let's say, take that out too and just stick to the facts. And you say to these zombies, 7.8 billion of them all over the earth, and you're reaching out to tens of thousands of them. And what you're saying to them is, hey, you look up in the sky, you see that jets, you see them by the thousands. Every day we can stand here and count them, and we'll count probably 2,000 to 10,000 mineral street jets that are just purposely laying out mineral streets. That's all they do. They might not even have pilots in them. So even if they did have pilots in them, why be upset at the conspiracy of a couple thousand pilots that may be worldwide running this geoengineering project? Why be upset at them? Why not be upset and take it out on and throw it in the face of the 7.8 billion zombies who refuse to look? If they refuse to look up in the sky, they refuse to notice the fucking trails in the first place. They refuse to see the imagery in the trails as soon as it's they're thrown out of the jets. They're refusing to look at all these different things. Throw it back at them. Why blame it on the government? Why blame, it's a couple thousand people you can't even get to? You can't even, anyways. I mean, is that the whole point? Is that everything's just a distraction to lead you to places that have no end, that have no answers? And that's all you're going to get. Because anytime you're going to talk to a politician, it's like talking to an actor. It doesn't make any difference. They're not going to give you a real story. Nobody is. Because there's 7.8 billion.
Of electromagnetic signals and radar signals, by turning the entire air, the particulate plasma they bring out, into a controllable technical unit to direct and redirect all sorts of signals.
Yeah, including the system's natural current. That's what I'm saying. They cannot interfere with the natural current. All they can do is change the effects of the natural current. The natural current of this system, the one that Satan created when he created this particular program, it's just going to go where it's going, and there ain't no fucking humans going to stop that from happening. Not even 7.8 billion of them. And they don't want to. They'll just really be good slaves and just close their eyes to it all and not watch it happen. But the one part of the government conspiracies, which should be the smallest part of this as far as I'm concerned, they're controlling. They've been doing that all along. They've had radio signals and chasing down radio signals for a long time. This is not anything new. This is not advanced technology. This is old technology that they've been using for 100 years at least anyways now already.
This is part of the rocket field in the military domain. If you want to destroy a Russian rocket approaching London, you just calculate the path, and then you activate the plasma and heat up the plasma to 10,000 degrees. And then the rocket is melting in the air and exploding. This is the rocket shield we had. And this needs to be sprayed out over the entire territory of Europe to have it everywhere. So this is the military domain, but as you see, some of the aspects
That sounds like a really ridiculous shit story right there, Harold.
of this particular plasma are connected to diseases and to attempts to get access to the nervous system of humans. So this is the second agenda that appears.
Okay, why would you do that? You think about this, if you sit back and think about that conspiracy, you have control of the water, okay? No one would even notice. They don't even complain. You can put hundreds of different additives to the water, and then you can shut down the fresh water coming off the mountains to the human population. 7.8 billion zombies are not even allowed to go into their forests anymore and get fresh spring water. You're not allowed to fish and get clean, fresh fish, right? You're not allowed to even do these things anymore. They've been shut off from that. The trees soak up a lot of the clean, fresh water. We're not allowed to dig wells anymore. So everyone has to go to a dirty water source, a cleaning plant, and get our waters from cleaning plants. And then they're either put in bottles, plastic bottles to top it off, which are leaking plastic into the other minerals that are supposed to be in the water. Fluoride is added to every bottle of water you can buy at the grocery store. And then your faucet water, of course, has so much shit in it, it's ridiculous. So, you lock off the whole entire system from clean water. Just 7.8 billion people bitch about it? Fuck no. No fucking no, man. They just go right along with it. It's unbelievable. It's more evidence of what I'm saying. So you can't keep blaming it.
On the monitor, which is not about military technology, but already about controlling the civil population of countries by accessing their nervous.
Why would you do it by air and the jets? I mean, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that it's not the whole system. It's not. It's the least of the worries. If they were, sure, you can knock out certain areas. I have no doubt they dropped Agent Orange or whatever out in Vietnam, stuff like that. I understand they do all that. Yes, they do, but that's not the biggest problem. It's really not. Everything else has already been here, and yes, they're changing signals and controlling weather. But if you can't get the 7.8 billion to even look up, how are you going to get them to appreciate that the weather is controlled? No, they go out and watch the weatherman every day and see what the weatherman's going to tell them. Weatherman gets his direction from the government agencies. Government agencies control the weather. So it's been that way for thousands of years, though. It really has. Smelting, right? Industrial revolutions all over the place, even still today in Asian countries, right? And then the mineral streets for the last mineral streets. Just to let you know, I can go back and that's a good thing. I'll tell you. Matter of fact, I'll bring you back in a couple of places. Because you got 100 years of television and movies to prove to you that the mineral streets were already happening. So for you to say that the mineral streets is only that spy, that agent, special agent that leaked that information to you, that whistleblower you called him, for you to say that he claimed that it's only been going on since the Iraqi war and all that shit. That's why this is going to be a really good series for you. I hope you come to here and you really listen and go do some of the things I'm asking you to do. You can go throughout the movies. Go to some Charlie Chan movies. Go to some old movies where you got clouds in the background. You have to make sure it's not soundstage, because you can easily determine that. Because if the clouds are not moving and they're not folding into each other, then you can just go ahead and assume they're soundstage. But if they are moving and they're folding, then go in on them. And then once you know that you got the proper clouds and not soundstage, then keep an eye out for the trails. I'll bring you in on some. I'll take you down some of those roads. The trails have been here all along. I had to apologize to my father and my uncle because they're fucking total morons, and they were arguing with me over the years. about the trails always being there. And I'm like, no, no, no. What you're talking about is the exhaust of jets. That's not what I'm trying to point out to you guys. And we'd be arguing stuff. They're still not with me. They still don't understand, and they're not going to even begin to understand any of the shit that I'm talking about. But they did have a point, because the mineral streets were happening. Because what you're seeing back there, if you know the difference between mineral streets and uh, jet exhaust or airplane exhaust or anything like that, if you, or even water crystals that are being dropped behind a jet because of the hot air or whatever and a cold temperature on the other side of it. If that's the case and you can tell the difference between them, then you'll be all set. Then you can go back in the TV and movies and you find the chemtrails. They were there way before you ever even think they were there.
System to introduce signals. The second one, aluminum and manganese oxide. By the way, barium strontium titanate is produced in industrial spray pyrolysis at 750 to 600 degree flame temperature, which is identical with the flame temperature within normal jet engines. Aluminum oxide is also produced by spray pyrolysis by temperatures of 1700 degrees. This is afterburner technology. And afterburner technology in the military domain is utilizing aluminum fuel. So the aluminum is already contained inside the fuel.
Yes.
If you look at those particles...
And that was also right from the beginning of even airplanes and automobiles, anything running on gas, on the fuels. That was already the case. It was already happening. The only difference was before airplanes and jets and all this other stuff, it was all had to happen from the ground. So you might want to do it from the tallest mountains and that kind of thing. Just like the Indian rain dance I was talking about in the last video. Same thing.
This is how they look like.
We're going in on this. Okay. This looks just like an iceberg. And it's loaded with imagery. Wait till you see this. Okay. So Harold, you know where you are in your video on this one. Okay. I'm going to start out here. You're not going to see the imagery because it's so spiky. So you're not going to see the imagery yet. Just give me a minute. Your eyes will start making it out. And notice all the triangular shapes everywhere. Start trying to get your handle around the builders. Start to get every frame that I'm showing you, and I'm bringing you in on these imagery, people. Keep an eye out for any triangular shapes, okay? Just, don't think about them that much. Just notice triangular shapes. Just keep an eye out for them as you're admiring the imagery. Because the imagery is really good in here. It's really nice. I'm just taking my time. I'll get there. Don't worry. Just want to look around myself for a minute. You know what? Let me put some... Hold on a minute. What am I at? Sorry, I'm smoking while I'm doing this. Okay. So just this was an example. Eye, nose. Look at that nose for a minute, right? Look at that nose, nostril. You see the two nostrils. And this one that I'm trying to show you, eye with the pupil, this eye here, and this eye over here. I'm trying to stay on it for you. Hold on. Eye there. The shapes of the pupils makes a difference. This is why I'm going to call this feline. The nose is another reason why I think I'm going to call this feline. Underneath the nose, I know it's another image, so try to stay with me. Just keep it as a nose for a minute. And then it's got that little swoopy line that comes down on felines. Mouth's way open, big yawn mouth going on. It has some whiskers being used as these spiky things are being used as whiskers. And you'll start to understand why I'm calling things feline, canine, rodent, ape, and human and beast is by different characteristics that they have. Now, with all these spiky things, you would think you'd be able to use your imagination. You should be able to. You guys all have good imaginations, right? So if you got a good imagination, why ask yourself this and try to do it for yourself. Try to make a spider. Try to make yourself a spider with all these spiky things here, right? And say, "Ooh, there's a scary spider." But then what you got to do is use the rest of it to show me the detail in the spider. It ain't gonna happen. It's only your imagination that you're seeing the spider. But what I'm doing for you is I'm bringing you in and gonna give you the detail of everything. Like, let's say this right here. Let's try it. Let's try using my imagination. I'd have to, number one, start counting the legs on it, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like there might be another one back there. To try to make this in my imagination, this area, I want to make this a spider, okay? All right, just so you can see how I do this and what my process is. Now I'm going to start looking around at it. Immediately, I see no characteristics of anything that looks like a spider. What I see here is a rodent face, first of all. So I see the eye here, nose here, mouth here, of a face that looks like a rodent. And I'll try to get them in a little better for you. Hold on. Coming from this direction. Okay, I'm going to pull around them a little bit, see if I can get them to change up a little. Now you got a large ape face with an eye here, nose here, kind of apish nose too, in the mouth open of a large image. But his snout and everything like that definitely tells me ape on that one there. His snout is all right here. And there's another one, if I come up this way, which turns human, which is eye right here, nose right here, human nose, and that's going to end up being the mouth area. I'll bring in on him. Right there. That one would be a human face. Feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast from the veil to the ground. Reasons for spiky things to be going on and things like that are going to be to do with something else. I think temperature so far, but who knows? And again, this is another good place to realize and appreciate all these triangular shapes everywhere. These triangular shapes, what you think is in the absent, you look between all these spiky things to make out your triangular shapes. Okay, and you'll think of that when we go to the trees, the clouds, the moon, everywhere else. Got some body imagery here again? Looks like another possibility of body imagery. If I can make titties out of it, because it looked like I almost could with this one right here. And you'll like this one because it's out of the feeling. So eye, nose, and mouth. There's the head on it right there. And then it looks like I got a breast here and another breast here with the shoulders going down. Let's see. Let's look at her a little better. Oh shit. No shit. Hold on a minute. I mean, I see all the other faces in here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving up yet, but because when I go in, I see the human face. I see all the other faces. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on something. I'm going to show you something that you're actually going to like. Especially after listening to all my shit. I'm going to use this as a research vid. And I'll come back on it all. But I just noticed something that might be. And if it is, I'll be honest about it. Let's see. Where is it now? Where was I making out that body? Hold on a minute. We got a hand there. We could probably count the fingers on. That works out. That's the face I want. Is that what I was just saying? It might be a hand. That's the face I want for it. And I'm going to pull it back to about here. Yeah, we got something else going on here. I'm not going to say it yet. Alright, I'll come back to it. I just want to look at a couple other things first. And I'll come back to what I was going to show you. Fucking just cleaned all this shit. 28 minutes. I'm glad I did this today, Harold, because I'm having a good time, actually. I thought I was going to be mad and angry all the time doing your videos, but you got a lot of good stuff to going on, too, that's different. You know, it's not like going in on the trees, the water, the ice, and stuff like that with these microscopic shots that you got of these different things like the Morgellons and stuff like that. So I'm glad this worked out all right. I'll bring you back over all these later because I know you might not be seeing the imagery right now, and that's fine. I'm just making research vids out of them, and then later I can sit down and it's easier for me to move around with the stick and point stuff out and everything. Pretty amazing. I'm learning a lot from watching this. And I'll tell you in a minute, before the video ends, I'll tell you what else I saw that really interested me. It may turn out to be nothing, but it may be something. So sometimes, when things seem to look scary, right, or freaky or whatever, and you're freaking out about them, like, give you this one. Eye, nose, and mouth down here. Of course, like I keep saying, it's image with an image. So I can come down here and I know it's another image and everything, but just separating the images for you. And I'm bringing you in on that particular face, right? If you're of a religious belief and of a religious mind, you're going to look at this image and you're going to say, Satan, the devil, right? When you look at that image, it's pretty scary looking, right? Freaky. If you are a space alien person, and I'm trying to get, I don't have any cropping tools. I'll crop it another time too. But if you're a space alien person, you're going to say, ooh, space alien, scary, space alien guy. But I'm telling you, that's just a human. It might even be a little bit of a cross at different angles, but if it's a cross, and we call it a beast. It'll be feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. It might have a feline nose or some feline features. Time's just flying by on these because I'm having a good time doing them. So let's see. Okay, hold on a minute. I just came down to the bottom computer, so I don't have to keep standing up. What's this? Oh yeah, shit. Fucking battery's dying. Nice. My battery's dying, so some of this might not come in so clear. We'll see. Okay, before this ends, I want to go back to challenging myself on that one that I was showing you earlier. To see if I can get it to go spider at any angle. Just want to finish looking at a few more of these faces. What am I at? 39 minutes? Come back, I gotta find her face. It looked like a female face. Stay right about here for a minute. This is one angle that I might get one. Alright. I still haven't found her face. I seen another one that I figured I'd go in on. Oh, maybe she's way down here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a few of them that I'm going to test my imagination. You know, I like to play that, the EMNC challenge, I call it, and I'm going to do that with myself. with all these lines that we're seeing everywhere, because I can see that. I mean, I see the triangular patterns everywhere. I see the builders all over the place. The evidence of the builders, I should say, because the builders are going to be invisible to us. I don't like to use that term, but you'll see the evidence of the builders, the triangular shapes everywhere. I see, all the faces, of course, and everything. And I see them playing into the imagery, all these lines and spiky things and stuff. Not even spiky, because they have an end to them. They're not ending with a spike. They go to another image. They're all going image to image, and they are being used in a lot of different ways. I'll give you some examples. The ones that I'm going to try to use, though, is going to be this one that I brought you in on the face of. You can see a few different faces. Lights and shadows, play with the colors, with your eyes and everything like that. I was giving you before the one with the eye, nose, and mouth down here of that one. But you can pull around, change some angles and everything like that, and you can go in for these smaller ones, crop it for yourself with eye, nose, and mouth looking off that way. Then you come over this way and you got a similar image to that full-size one right here, with the chin being very similar. Eye, nose, and mouth. So when I back out, I see the builders everywhere and stuff like that. But then we got these, lines. They're not spikes necessarily, because they're lines. Now, they're also part of the imagery in all different directions, but there might be something more to them. I'm gonna look into it for a little bit, but I'm trying to make spider legs out of them, just to let you know. I'm trying to use my imagination rather than just seeing what I can see, which is, the human face inside the feline's face, within the canine face, within the rodent face. And rather than just look at what's there, I'm challenging myself to be so open-minded, as I'm asking all of you to do, that I'm using my imagination to try to put a spider in there. And it hasn't happened yet. There's one over here, though, that I was really close to it, and I'm gonna try to find her face again. And the reason why it stood out at me is it kind of reminded me of the spider picture that guy drew. For Harald, that picture that he did. Fortunately, I just don't remember where her face was. I'm thinking it was up here somewhere. Let me see. I guess it could have been down lower, but I'll know when I watch it back and I remaster it. I'll just go over this whole area and then I'll see if I spot it. trying it with a couple others as well. I'm trying it with this one here, with this whole area, and using these in my imagination as the spider legs, because you know, one bends over here and there's some bent ones here and there that could pass for spider legs, and just like the same thing with that one. So I'm gonna try it, but so far no deal. I'll know when like I said, when I watch it back. Hmm. Hmm. You know what this reminds me of, Harold, before this ends? What am I at? 43 minutes? What this reminds me of is when you're watching, let's say, the clouds or something that doesn't have all the minerals there to make a complete surface. And then in between all of the minerals, if you use mineral streets as an example of the mineral streets when they drop them out of the clouds, you have all these areas, you know, different color triangles everywhere because the triangular builders. So you're seeing the evidence of the builders. But what I'm saying is there's all this space in here where you might think that there is no imagery, but actually there is. It is part of the imagery. Like, eye, strokes up nose, and his mouth ends up being this really big open mouth here, line coming down this way. of that beast right there with a crazy looking open mouth. So it is part of the imagery. It's just that you're gonna have to be able to appreciate the system's work, I guess, is the way I usually try to describe that. See the intent. See the intent without using imagination. So I could use my imagination and try to put something here, but if I could just calm myself down and say eye, nose that I can see clearly, upper lip I can see clearly, then I can easily see the intent of the builders of what they were going to build. And that's what it appears to me so far on this one. It appears that all the minerals are not there that are required, and it's kind of the same thing that happens with ice. With ice, certain minerals leave the system from the temperature change, and they get evaporated up into the air. They change their molecules structure, whatever. Their molecular structure changes. So therefore, that you have this look of emptiness in between, but it's really not when you really look. When you really look at it a little deeper, you'll see. Oh fuck! Fucking run it.